You're not going to find a lot of information on the background of Mitchell Charles Johnson, better known as Paperboy. The following, though, is certain. 1. He was born in San Diego, California, but grew up in Oakland. 2. He started rapping during his years as a student in Washington High School in Los Angeles. And 3. He picked a fledgling producer by the name of David Weldon, better known as Rhythm D, for the production of what would become his breakthrough song. Another thing is certain. His biography is as short as the moment he had in the limelight. By the early 1990s, the Ohio funk band Zapp had become one of hip-hop's favorite sampling sources, providing much of the template that rap artists in the West Coast would use for G-funk dominance further into the decade. Ditty, Blow Dat Thin, the lead single from the band's second album, 1982's Zapp 2, had already been used by over a dozen acts such as the Beastie Boys, South Central Cartel, Toddy T, and Everlast when Paperboy stopped by Rhythm D's house in the summer of 1991 with stardom aspirations as large as the Hollywood sign. By then, Paperboy had a few years of experience under his belt, making enough of a name at local clubs to start garnering attention from record labels. The most prominent of such companies turned out to be Next Plateau Records, fueled by multinational entertainment company Polygram. Next Plateau was best known for being the home of Salt and Pepper, the most successful female hip-hop act around. Paperboy needed Rhythm D to flip Ditty, much to the perplexity of the latter, who deemed it too fast to rap over, perhaps initially daunted by his sparse equipment and unfamiliarity with previous sampling jobs. But ultimately, Rhythm D, convinced by the compatibility of Paperboy's fast rapping style, took the Ditty record, chopped it up using the SP1200, added a drum roll from James Brown's Funky President, put in a bass line, and completed the beat for Paperboy to rhyme over. With backing from Next Plateau, as well as locally based SZM Records, Ditty, named after the record from which it liberally borrows, was serviced to the streets and radio on November 3, 1992. Gaining traction at swap meets and clubs, and eventually gaining substantial airplay at Power 106 FM, Ditty entered the Billboard Hot 100 at number 77 a few days before Christmas. It peaked at number 10 in April 1993 and gained a platinum certification the following month. Hard to believe in retrospect, but Ditty was arguably the biggest song in the Los Angeles area from late 92 to early 93. It actually dethroned Whitney Houston's monstrous hit I Will Always Love You in January 1993 as the biggest selling single in Southern California. And that's during the time the bulldozers that were the Chronic singles were picking up steam. Despite the single's tremendous success, though, Ditty had one hit wonder written all over it, and when it faded into history, so did Paperboy. Such a fate is coincidentally microcosmic of the album that accompanied and contains the hit single, The 9 Yards, released by Next Plateau on January 26, 1993. True, Ditty is playfully catchy, comprising the rapid and cheerful flow of Paperboy about hitting it big and hitting the skins, and the enhanced bounciness of the synthesizer-based beat from right-hand man Rhythm D, who actually produces the entire album. It also helps that Paperboy has more than an ounce of self-accountability in an increasingly gangstified climate. And there's, of course, a sticky hook that ties the verses together, sealing the song's hit-making potential. But don't automatically expect it to land on any top 100 lists of hip-hop's greatest singles. In fact, Ditty implies a two-fold problem with the 9 Yards. One, Paperboy doesn't really have much to say. Studs is another bedroom nod. Going On is a feeble, threadbare attempt at black uplift. Zooted and the title track, which interestingly enough samples another Zapp staple, More Bounce to the Ounce, are adequate but characterless as battle-oriented tracks. Well, actually, Zooted, which features Rhythm D busting a rhyme or two, stands out a bit with the producer's synth menace and Paperboy's DAS effects influenced flow.
Now I got another verse, but I won't riff. I just too many twisted tongues to make it sound swift. And I do it like this, sound like that, cause I'm the editor. Ripping up the whole damn town like I was predator.
And even though he admits that he's not from the ghetto in his Smash single, that doesn't stop him from the unconvincing hood tail stab that is Jack move. It also doesn't help that Paperboy sacrifices oral clarity for a rather fast-paced delivery. Casual rap listeners might have to strain their ears to catch a lot of what he's rapping about. 2. It seems that Paperboy and Rhythm D were dead set on replicating the success of Ditty, the first track on the 9 Yards. Right next to it, front-loaded on the album, is Bumpin', adaptation of Humpin', which titularly and musically pays homage to the Gap Band's moderate 1981 hit, Humpin'. Admittedly, Rhythm D's entry is one of the better Humpin'-inspired jobs, with synth-bass buttressed, flute-lined, and snare-clap-riddled funk that owes much of its bloodline to Zapp. And Paperboy, with his bouncy, playful flow, is far from a terrible rapper, and he executes each track with commendable consistency. Equally as consistent is Rhythm D's Boardwork, which plays like one long 40-minute funk-bathed ode to the summer, climaxing with the faint sunny string-helmed Little Something for the Summer. Rhythm D also asserts himself by guest rapping on 2 tracks, the aforementioned Studs and Zooted, and providing additional vocals and ad-libs elsewhere on the album. And it sure doesn't hurt that the 9 Yards is a mere 10 tracks, which includes the Shoutouts outro and a less melodic Ditty version, the Divine Street Mix, tacked at the end. For a brief moment, it seemed that Paperboy was destined for greater things. In addition to a top 10 platinum certified single, the 9 Yards was certified gold in June of '93, and Ditty was nominated for the Best Rap Solo Performance Grammy. But there were signs that not all was well. Bumpin' was supposed to be a surefire follow-up hit, but that didn't even make it onto any Billboard singles chart. Worse, it turned out that both Paperboy and Rhythm D had signed away their publishing to get the Next Plateau record deal. So whatever was left out of Zapp leader Roger Troutman's publishing company was quickly devoured between Next Plateau, SZM Records, and a few other participating entities. It took Eazy-e, to whose company, Ruthless Records, Rhythm D had signed on as a producer, to recover most of the duo's publishing, which amounted to a 5-figure check. Publishing or not, Rhythm D and Paperboy from that point forward went on divergent paths. The former will be best known for assisting Eazy-e with his musical resurgence, as well as positioning Ruthless Records with a fighting chance at dominance within a death row-dominated landscape. The latter, on the other hand, never lived up to his stage name. Dreams of making that paper on a national tour dissipated as Ditty quickly faded into the annals of rap history and, in 1994, lost at the Grammy Awards to Let Me Ride by Dr. Dre. Next Plateau stuck around for Paperboy's sophomore LP, 1996's City to City, but when that failed to chart, they gave the rapper his walking papers. Subsequent albums, 2004's The Love Never Dies, his last under any record label, and 2008's self-released The New News and 2015's Fresh Off the Press, fared even worse. It had to be that bad if he being busted for weed possession, non-prescription medication, and driving on a suspended license garnered a lot more attention than the album he just released. Even the blatant milking of his lone hit, The Ditty, featuring Roger Troutman's brother, Terry, couldn't even get a handful of people to stay current with the new news. So, Paperboy's resume is, well, paper thin. But at least he notched one top 40 pop hit and one gold-selling album before his 15 minutes were up. The 9 Yards should be best known as the launching pad of one of the more notable West Coast producers in the G-Funk era, and it's an appropriately taut, average early 90s rap album. Beyond that, though, it will be far from the end of anyone's musical world if they skip doing the Ditty with Paperboy altogether. Thanks for watching. For those new here, welcome to Rap Perspective. For the Rappleheads, I greatly appreciate your support. Don't forget to like, comment on, and share this video, and make sure you subscribe to the channel. And I encourage everyone to watch, like, comment on, and share other videos on here. See you in the next video.